Welcome back to RPGs We Love 3. We have the wonderful Neerrm here for some Final Fantasy. Just keeping it going.
Yep, you gotta live the dream. Keep rolling with Final Fantasy 6 to Final Fantasy 4, back to Final Fantasy 6 with a nice game sprinkled in between.
Can you explain the Neerrm world order?
Sure can't. No, that's a whole thing I think would be better served for a different... It's a different event, but it's just there. Anywho, we are here. We are doing Final Fantasy 6, any percent New Game Plus. I've got a Moogle. You've got a Moogle. We've all got a Moogle. This Moogle, just your standard Moogle. Got his Moogle stuff. He's got a Moogle charm, some sprint shoes. And this is a very, very glitch run, so I'm going to walk through a glitch right in the beginning where it's going to be used throughout the entirety of the run. As you can see, there's a nice little preview of things it can do. So we're here, we're in Owzer's house, we're in the world of Ruin. We've played through, I don't know, or towards the end of the game. This is the side quest where you save Realm and have to defeat Shadownook in the painting. And the entirety of the any percent New Game Plus speedrun is possible because of these cycling doors right here. There they go. Look at them go. They're doors. They're having a good time. And if you walk very specifically on this map, if you listen, the doors are still clanking away despite me changing maps. Whereas if I hadn't walked and exited on that specific frame, they would not still be clanking away. And we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep doing that without screwing up. And they're still going. And here we go. We have the door timer. We're out of here. Check out this painting. It's Ultros now. And yeah, we're having a good time. So what that does is the doors will be cycling. They'll be spawning NPCs. That's not quite intended. I'm actually going to hop back in here, I think. Not sure if I lost the timer. We're going to go ahead and save now that we've escaped with the timer. We're going to go ahead and reset. And by resetting, we have to watch the intro because we are on a very specific encounter seed. The way encounter seeds work in this game is slightly different than the previous Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy V doesn't have any manipulation at all in terms of like starting seed and having different step values and whatnot. I believe Final Fantasy V always starts on the same value. Final Fantasy IV is a frame input on the menu title screen, so you just have to get lucky. And Final Fantasy VI is a value between 0 and 255, but that value changes based on how many times you've seen the start. There's an initial value, and then how many times you've seen the start screen, and how many times you've loaded games, so on and so forth. And also what's saved to the Super Nintendo itself. And so by setting a specific starting encounter seed, we are able to know which encounters we're going to get based on the number of steps we take throughout the entire run. And because this is such a low-level run, we need to know every single thing that's going to happen. Otherwise, we're going to die horrible, horrible deaths. So we got a little bit of time. If there's anything you wanted to plug or say or do or dance and sing.
We have a couple donations. Joseph, I'm butchering this name. Jophus Mano put, please let me never see Furbymas in real life. Donation goes to Scala's Choice. If Scala's around, can we get that choice? And then Leggy, I'm not sure if this one was read, but trolling them is one of life's greatest pleasures. This was such a fun race to watch, and Team Lobster rides again. Donation goes to our champion Blazewolf's Choice, and that was already taken care of.
Trolling them is pretty fun.
It's what keeps me going.
All right, so what can I explain about the door timer that we pulled out? You saw that it would cycle NPCs. That's actually one of many uses of that timer. Throughout the beginning of the run, one thing you'll notice is that the door timer, you do hear it clanking away as I'll be walking through Narsh and other places. And one property of that timer is that every time it actually fires, it essentially is playing an event to fire the swapping of those NPCs. And if that so happens to coincide with me stepping onto a tile that has an event on it, it will override that event. And if I move off that tile quickly enough, that event will never happen. So there are many points in this game where you step on a tile and you have a forced encounter. I'll be able to skip hopefully all of those. And this is a very volatile run. If I make a mistake in certain places, I will definitely have to go to a backup. I haven't had to do that in the marathon yet, so this is going to be the one. Are you ready? I'm ready.
Fingers crossed.
So very easy to make mistakes. If I make a misstep anywhere where there's encounters, I'm going to have to reset. Fortunately, that's not everywhere, but it is a lot of the places. And there's a lot of frame perfect buffered input throughout the beginning in order to skip the cutscenes. There is all kinds of fun stuff. Frame perfect menu entries. Yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Do you have a moment just for a little bit of a reminder?
Go for it.
So we do have a bid war coming up for Earthbound. It's for naming all of the characters, and just a reminder that's going to stop at the start of the run. So make sure this is a very fast run. Get your donations in.
All right, so we have a timer, but how does that correspond to New Game? Well, if you select the file and back out and then hit New Game, it actually does not clear out the timer. So are we doing countdowns via somebody else, or am I counting down? How are we doing this? Got it. Thank you. In 3, 2, 1, we go. Right. So right out of the gate, we're going to do some menuing. Battle speed 6 to slow down enemies. Cursor on memory. I skipped one there. I'm going to step to the side, go in the menu, wait for the timer to buffer up to a known point in order to frame perfectly walk over these encounters here. And we're through screen 1 without too much trouble. If I'm going to make a mistake, it's going to be right here. Here we got to do some walking back and forth in order to buffer this one, pass that one. That's great. Now 2 steps down here. And we're into the Narsh Cave without any encounters. Up here, because there's a cutscene right before the Welk boss, I have no way to actually buffer anything, so I have to use an audio cue. And hopefully I get it. Okay, great. All right, so we're through the intro of the game in a whopping minute and 18 seconds. So that's an example of what the door timer is capable of. As long as you know exactly what frame the door timer is going to fire on, which you can do by going into the menu and having the door timer essentially reach a point where a value right before it's going to fire, and then as you exit the menu, it fires. You can get it set to a known value, and then by taking a specific number of steps, then you can cross over tiles and have a good time. All right, so the bypassing of events is one thing. You also remember that the door timer was cycling between 3 doors. That on maps that don't have those 3 doors, that'll spawn NPCs. So here's Arvis. Goodbye, Arvis. We don't want to talk to you today. We're going to walk right out of the town here. Going to have to wait a little bit because my door cycle is 1 off. So the door will eventually open. The guard blocking the door will despawn. And we're in the town of Narsh. I'm not supposed to be able to get here until much, much later in the game. But alas, being able to walk out of doors is a powerful, powerful tool. So now we're going to go buy the ability to walk fast. These nice sprint shoes here. We're going to throw those on immediately. We're going to do some other running around the town. You'll remember that this door timer has the ability to despawn NPCs. It also has the ability to spawn NPCs. So we're going to wait right here for this guy. I've been waiting for you. I think it's the other way around, buddy. He's going to give us the sword Ragnarok, which is one of the strongest weapons in the game. The only reason we're picking that up is because it provides magic evasion, and because magic evasion is bugged in this game and it blocks everything, that's going to give us a better chance of surviving some late game encounters. Keyword is chance, it's not guaranteed. We're also going to pick up this money here. We need a little bit of money to buy some items in the shop. We're going to buy smoke bombs in order to get away from said encounters, and we're going to buy tents in order to do some shenanigans. We're going to sell some sleeping bags, make room in the inventory. And there we go. That's all we need. All right, so right now, I mentioned earlier that walking is very important. That's going to begin here. If I make a mistake, then I'm going to have to go to a backup file. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
Are you trying to jinx yourself?
Yes. Hello, hello. There we go. We got the buffered step. Everything should be good. All right, so we're still in Magitech armor. That's because we never cleared the cutscene that clears that. Also got a bunch of NPCs spawning and despawning here. We're going to talk to our Bannon. We're prepared to save Narsh from Kefka. And that has some pretty interesting side effects of having all Terras. I am blanking on the party order. This is not good.
So that's my favorite character. This is pretty much heaven for me.
I think that's right. If that's not right, we're in trouble. So yeah, now we have Terra and 2 blonde Terras, because the reason we have blonde Terra is because the default palette is the green, blonde, and blue that Edgar and Celis have, but the character sprite was never initialized, so by default it's Terra. So you get a nice blonde Terra. You also get Terra in Magitech armor. And I'm going to be doing some shenanigans here. First, I'm going to buffer the timer up in this menu, and then I'm going to take a specific number of steps right here and go back into the menu. I want you to notice I'm going to swap characters, but as I exit the menu, the character who's the party lead will still be out front. It'll still be Magitech Terra as opposed to blonde Terra. And we're going to do that again here, except you won't see this one because the 2 sprites are the same. And now I'm over here in the top left corner of the map. And why did that happen? How did I manage to warp to the top left corner of the map? Well, you see, when you do a party swap, but the actual party leader sprite doesn't update in the front, then when you swap through parties, and go back to the original party, it goes back to the coordinates of the new party leader. And because the party leader was never updated, it goes to the coordinates of the person you swapped to. And because all of these characters had uninitialized values, you get warped to the top left of the map. And that lets us walk around all these nice soldiers trying to do their jobs, and we're just ruining their day. Alright, so we are walking down here. We're going to do a little bit of menuing. We're going to throw that Ragnarok on. We're going to swap here, and we're going to buffer out again. We're going to do the same thing here. What we did before is we swapped parties in order to get specific coordinates. That's going to allow us to warp right here. That'll allow us to warp all past all those mines and stuff. And we're going to warp on down, and we're going to walk right out of town here. There's a lot going on. It's really hard to explain when you're doing it fast, but such is life.
I don't know. I think you're doing a great job. Don't you have notes available?
I have notes somewhere. I should have had the link handy. So we're going to save in slot 1 here. We're actually going to go back into town here. And we need to get coordinates set on other parties. So we're going to walk right here. Specific tile right here. That's going to be Terra 1's coordinates. We're also going to walk to a tile right here. That's going to be Terra 2's coordinates. We're going to save these coordinates into slot 2. And we're actually going to reset the game. And the reason we're doing that is we want to use these coordinates in order to warp that second party. But in order to do that, we need to actually go back and load save 1, but we're using the coordinates that are saved in save 2. So when we do this swap here, we're going to do the same thing as we warped before. We're going to warp down here, and party number 2 here with real Terra and fake Terra is now free from Kefka and Narsh. Doesn't have to go through the mines. So once again, we're going to grab more coordinates here by changing party leaders here. We set real Terra's coordinates there, and we have fake Terra. She's actually going to just stand here. And then I'm going to save these coordinates into slot 3. And so we have essentially we're set up to do all the warps we need to do. And now we just need to get to the places where we need to do them. So we have coordinates saved in slot 2 and coordinates saved in slot 3. And we're going to utilize those throughout the run. So moving on the world map here is very specific. I am going to move in a very specific way and then force an encounter in order to avoid a very nasty encounter later. So here's our buddy the Leafer. Nice preemptive attack. And now we're in the town of Figaro. Wait. Oh, it's you. He knows who we are. Alright, so we want to stand right here on these stairs. Now we're actually we're going to try and exit town. And you'll notice I am actually outside Figaro now. That's because the last world map location was at Figaro. So I'm going to save my game, select this slot, and reset. And what that's going to do is going to load the coordinates from save number 3. But it's going to give us the actual locations from save number 1. So when we load back into save number 1 here, we're going to walk back into Figaro. And we're going to warp into the jail cell wall. And if you've played this game before... Whoa, we are not on the jail cell wall. What did I do? All right, backup time. I actually don't know why that happened.
So that wasn't the jinxing?
That was definitely the jinxing. All right, let's see. What is the closest one? Probably this one. So I haven't used these backups in a long time, so it might actually take me a bit of time to remember what exactly I need to do here.
That is okay. I can actually take a announcement break if you like.
Go for it.
Okay, so if you guys are just tuning in, this is RPGs We Love 3. What's going on with this marathon is all money is going to be going to the RPG Valkyries, helping them get to RPG Limit Break. Anything excess over the goals, we have these new lovely stretch goals. And anything else will be going to Nami. They will gift it on behalf of the RPG Valkyries once they're at RPG Limit Break.
All right, so that did set me back pretty significantly, unfortunately, but so if you didn't fully understand it the first time, you're probably not going to fully understand it the second time, but that's okay. You still get to see it again. Actually, you know what? I have a save it. This is kind of a blow up. Select slot 2. This is the... Sorry. I'll let you... We'll find out together.
This is a learning experience.
I walked over the exit tile like 45 times. Okay. Hopefully, we're back on. All right, we did it. So that's what should have happened last time, but didn't. All right, so we warp from the stairs to the World of Ruin, breaking into Figaro Castle with the thief guys. And then we walk through the cave here. We are stuck, but we have the power to warp. So we are going to do it again. Actually, I'm really perplexed as to why the corruption such as.
I still say it was jinxing.
Yeah, probably. All right, so we need to get across that water, and by God, we've done it. Hey, there's a nice thief guy. He's just hanging out. All right, so we've used the coordinates from Terra, Fake Terra, in slot 2. Now we need the coordinates from Fake Terra in slot number... slot number 2. Sorry. We've used the ones from slot number 3. Real Terra, Fake Terra, and now we need Fake Terra from slot number 2. And that's going to take us to the end of the cave in the South Figaro cave here. Save us all the trouble of walking. Here we are. And we've made it to the World of Ruin by way of some shenanigans. I'm actually waiting for the timer to buffer up here before I save. And then we're going to use a tent here. And if you're able to interrupt the tent event and walk down one tile, there's an event to trigger the floating continent cutscene. Why that is, we don't really know. Probably some sort of debug thing that was left over, but it's very convenient for us as we made it to the World of Ruin, but we have no way of getting into Kefka Tower. However, thankfully, at the end of this cutscene, you'll notice we're on an airship. We need an airship to get into the place.
We have Terra Prime right there in the middle, or Terrors as we're now able to call her.
All right, no harm, no foul. Got a little oopsie, but we're on our way. I got a nice little bit of a cutscene here, so we're going to be doing something that's called the airship glitch. Very famous Final Fantasy VI glitch. Used to save General Leo. If you save way back in the game and then you die on the airship, you can like pull Leo out and play through the game with General Leo, that kind of thing. That's been known about for a very, very long time. But because of the nature of it, having to save in the game and then game over probably 2 to 3 hours later, and then revert back to, you lose 2 to 3 speedrun hours. And playing the game normally is probably closer to 8 to 10 hours in order to get General Leo and pull other characters backwards. That hasn't really been used in a speedrun before, but with the ability to warp all over the place and to get to World of Ruin early, we saved in the World of Ruin, and then we're going to find a way to die on the airship. So then we'll have the airship in the World of Ruin. It's the perfect scenario. Alright, so we want to lift off, fly our airship around, but we don't want to lift off. We want to go back into Figaro. So we need to bamboozle this guy. We're going to do a little juke. Oh, we got him.
He did not want to see that. He's done with Terra.
And so you'll notice Terra, if you've been paying attention, she has 0 HP. Blonde Terra, that is. And that means she doesn't exist. When characters don't exist, well, you just die. But now, we have an airship. We're in the World of Ruin. We can go beat the guy. How are we going to beat the guy, you ask? Well, you see, we need help from one friend. And that's going to be our friend Sabin. So what I did there is I triggered the Kefka Tower entrance cutscene, but I also interrupted it by walking up. So I can switch parties, exit Figaro, and that's going to spit me out on the World of Ruin world map. And that's going to allow me to walk into Zen. I'm specifically bypassing the laser beam that tears down the house, because that makes the screen shake and makes things lag and makes timing things impossible. So here we have and. He's holding up the house. And now we have a timer. We're going to talk to Bannon. He's having a good time. We're going to do a nice little scenic route here. We're going to walk over here. We need to be standing right here. And we're going to go ahead and trigger the Kefka Tower entrance cutscene that we interrupted before. All right. So our merry band of Terras has made it to Kefka's Tower. We've got some gobbledygook in the bottom right corner. That used to be a timer. It's still a timer, but it's a gobbledygook timer now. And yeah, we just have to make our way through. So we have very specific party orders here. We're gonna do 1, 2, 4 in the middle, 6 and 5 over here. 7 is the important character, as we walked that party member to a specific location, Kefka at Narsh Snowfield. That's going to come into play pretty much immediately. We're going to use the coordinates of that character to warp to the end of this dungeon, and then use the power of the door timer to do so. So we need to go into the menu here. We can kill a little bit of time, so we're going to set the coolest background, which is lightning. So by walking here, sliding twice, and then swapping, we actually interrupt the party leader swap, and then voila, we're in the end of the dungeon. This is our first save point. I want to know about save points. Alright, so we've got real terrorist party here. And we need to survive 3 actual endgame encounters, and that means we need to get lucky. If our ATB is good, we can smoke bomb out. Not today. That's okay. But thankfully, we were able to safety save to no detriment, so we only lose a little bit of time. We need to get a little lucky. And if we keep dying, it's not really a big no memory cursor. So that is the why we pick up the Ragnarok right there. Ragnarok has a chance of blocking some attacks and can save the run, save us some time. Ragnarok coming through in the clutch right there. All right, so we're going to take another safety save here. And the Vectars will be back for round number 2. Better ATB this time, it should be fine. Alright, so if you remember, our only real character is Terra there, so if we take an encounter with this party, we automatically lose. But we don't want to do that, so we've routed everything around that party specifically taking encounters. Okay, so we're grabbing specific coordinates there. We're going to grab the ability to save right here, and we're going to do what's essentially a variant on warping, which is called the tent warp, where you swap party leaders and then use a tent. And this is probably the more commonly known warp, where if you use a tent to exit the menu, it does not update the party leader changing, and then you cycle back around and you will do a warp. Here we are. That party's up there now. So the final goal is to get this party up to that little spot up there, and we have to defeat one more encounter. That's going to be Brontars. They could be pretty nasty. They've walled me for up to as many as 13 times in a row. But hopefully they play nice, or I get a preemptive attack. Easy game. So if a map does not have doors or NPCs on it that correspond to it, it'll automatically spawn doors. That's going to spawn a door that lets us walk through the wall. We're going to hang out up here. We're going to set coordinates right here. And then we're going to actually go down here, trigger the poltergeist fight. Oh no, what are we doing? We're dying.
That is not a poltergeist.
Alright, so we died, which is intentional. So we are actually going to do another tent warp here. We're going to swap, and you'll notice when I use the tent, it's still real Terra, even though I swapped the party leader to fake Terra. And what that's going to do is actually take us to Mirror World. But in order to go to Mirror World, this party needs to be out here. And we're in Mirror World. Think Mario 64 Parallel Universes, same idea. And that lets us bypass the poltergeist fight right there. But in order to get back into the real world, we have to cycle around. And there we go. Everybody's back in the real world. And now we're ready to drop into the final thing here. And we're going to do one last warp, a very simple warp. We're going to set coordinates on the switch with each of the first 2 parties here. And then the final party will stand on the switch, and we will warp the other 2 parties onto the switch. This game does not care which 3 switches are stood on as long as you are standing on, all 3 parties are standing on a switch. So we're going to do some buffered walking here. Do a party swap. Do some more buffered walking here. Do a party swap. We're going to cycle on through the parties. 1, 2, 3. And lo and behold, we are done with Kafka's Tower into the final cutscene.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, so our merry band of Terra, and Terra have finally made it to defeat their arch nemesis, some guy we've never met. We saw him like say something in the snowfields, but we don't really know what he was about. We just kind of walked around him. So we don't really know why we're here. So you might be thinking, well, we've made it this far, but our only real party member is a level 3 Terra. She does have Ragnarok, which is pretty cool, but how are we going to actually defeat the final boss? And I did make a little bit of a side trip to the town of Zend, meet our buddy or ampersand. And triggering that event started a timer. And you'll notice that that timer is still going. It's still trucking away in the bottom right there. It's got about 1 minute and 10 seconds left. You're just going to have to trust me on that. I can speak gobbledygook. It's an acquired skill. And we're going to actually use that timer. When that timer expires, normally you would game over. But the final battle is flagged in such a way that if you exit the final battle with anything but that's not annihilation, it's considered a victory and you just leave and you win. So when that timer expires, we did not get annihilated. We lost the game because ampersand can no longer hold up the house. But that's good enough for the game, and it's good enough for us.
So this is the good ending.
Yeah, sure.
The terrorist wins. Terras.
This ending, interestingly enough, does softlock towards the very, very, very end, just because there is a specific map that does not have a flag set, and so it's on the wrong map, so it just kind of stutters and dies. So you've got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And here we are. We've done it. 26 minutes on the dot, almost.
So I think popular opinion is this is witchcraft / wizardry, and you basically broke everything. Do you have anything to say?
That's about right. This is a very broken run that it's essentially a marrying of almost every FF6 glitch that's out there. And it's actually really cool that it's RTA viable, and I really enjoy running this. One of my favorite runs to do, just because there's so much going on, and it's kind of like the perfect storm of glitches that work together in order to make this actually completable. And it's really cool. It's all developed by a runner by the name of Eddie. He is a Japanese FF6 low step count router, as well as a glitch finder. He does all kinds of things with all different versions of the game. Has found a absolute ton of glitches and has been very helpful in doing everything. He's a really cool guy. His Twitter is EM and then like 6,000 numbers, so can't give it to you offhand, but all credit for this route goes to him. LCC was essentially pulled up a VOD and then learned how to do it, and we figured out that it was possible in the English version, and we essentially just copied almost everything that he did. Only thing we really changed is routing in that safer encounter, because the Japanese version doesn't have to worry about encounters because they get something called the equip anything glitch, which lets them be essentially immortal as they go through fights, so they don't have to worry about hard encounters because they can't die. So we routed in a couple of safeties like the Ragnarok and taking that Leafer encounter. But other than that, the entirety of this route comes from Eddie. So he's done a very good job with it. And I have had a blast learning it and a blast running it. And it's a good time. And that's going to be it.
Well, thank you. I think we all enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you all so very much, Neerrm. I do have a very, very quick programming note. There we go. So we announced those stretch goals right before this run. We have now made that change on the marathon website. So our new goal now is $9,000 because y'all are amazing, and I'm pretty sure if we reach that, well, trust me, we'll have a very nice donation to give to Nami after everything's all sorted out. That's for sure.
So over 9,000 is the goal?
Over 9,000. I mean, yes, it is definitely the goal. And I will very quickly just give a update real quick, just a reminder before I sign off for the evening. Actually, I'm going to keep game audio going because this game audio is real good. Okay, there we go. So just as a reminder, what the stretch goals are. We already have hit the first one, so we're going to be playing a wonderful round of video game Name That Tune, hosted by Margaret Ann. Next one is at 6,500 for Pasama to learn Animorphs. At 7,000, I'm going to be learning Off. At 7,500, Sparko's going to learn Free Enterprise. At 8,000, Demarine decided that she will learn Deadly Towers. And beyond that, Secrets! We'll get it all sorted out. Secrets. So thank you.
We love secrets.
Again, Neerrm, for the wonderful run. I am going to put it onto the hold screen. We'll get our next run settled. It's going to be a run of Earthbound Poke% by My Oh Mike. Y'all, stick around, because if you liked this run, you're going to like the next one too, I think. So we will get that all ready for you in just a moment.